how to identify hazards specific to your business. For this next series of videos, when we show you how to fill out the forms in the different pages, it's probably easiest if we think of a business that we can follow through all these different forms that we fill out. And for this example, let's go with something kind of fun. We'll say that it is Bob's Bakery and Bingo Hall is what we're going to use to fill out all of the information on these forms. So when we go to think about hazards specific to our business, what we need to do is we need to think about hazards that are relevant specifically right to your business. Don't just think about regional hazards. So for example, if you have flooding in your region, and it's very common, don't put down flooding if your business is at the top of a hill and flooding is very unlikely to happen. When we're starting to fill this out, we got to think about, we want to make it as applicable as possible and as custom to your business as possible, because that'll give us the most useful business continuity plan. So let's fill out this form together with our example business, Bob's Bakery and Bingo Hall. The form should look like this for you. And you can see it's broken out into different kind of hazards your business could be impacted by. So for example, environmental hazards, operational hazards, security hazards, personal hazards, or other hazards. So for the best results, we really want to come up with at least 5 hazards. And like we mentioned before, we really want them to be extremely applicable to your business. After we pick a hazard, what we're going to do is we're going to rate the relative probability. And so when we look at this, when we're thinking about probability, again, it being relative, what can help is to really think about the most likely hazard to impact your business, and then the least likely, and then kind of everything else in between. So if we continue with our example, we've got Bob's Bakery and Bingo Hall. What we can say is that this is actually located in the interior BC. So we can actually come here to our hazards, and we can say that wildfires are actually very probable, probably the most probable hazard that we're gonna face. So after we pick wildfires and the probability, we're going to click Add Hazard to List. And as you probably already noticed, what we've done is we've got these drop-down menus to give you kind of examples of hazards to make it as easy as possible. We can also say that actually in the interior BC, flooding is also a likely event, but again, we're located up on a hill, so we're not too worried about flooding. So we're actually going to give that a probability of 1 and add that. And then we're going to say, you know what, that's enough environmental hazards. We're going to go down here to operational hazards. And under operational hazards, we could actually say, failure of equipment or machinery could be a huge hazard that we could face actually with our bakery and bingo hall. And so we're going to give that a 4 because it's not quite as likely as wildfires. And what other operational hazards? Maybe we'll say lost utilities. And you know, we're pretty lucky in the interior here. That doesn't happen too often, but it happens more than flooding. So we're gonna give it a 2 for probability. Then we're gonna go down, let's say security hazards. So just because there's a category doesn't mean that you have to fill it out. So, you know, if there are no security hazards, just leave that one blank. For personal hazards, maybe we'll say a pandemic. Ooh, that's something that's now a lot more likely than we probably would have thought of in the past. So we're actually gonna give that a 4. We're gonna add that hazard. And then again, down here we have other hazards. So if there's something that is a hazard specific to your business that is not in one of these pre-populated lists, this is where you can add that hazard yourself. So we can actually say, running out of bingo cards could be a major hazard for our business. And luckily, even though it's a really big deal if it happens, it's not that probable. So we're only gonna give it a 2, and we're gonna add that one. So after you've populated all of your hazards specific to your business, you're going to click on this button down here, next up, Inventory Critical Business Assets and Functions, and we'll go from there.